I write my novels really fast, and you can too. I'm a multi-time best-selling author, and I did not start out writing my novels as quickly as I do now. It is something I have had to learn how to do. I've had to grow as a writer, and I've had to incrementally bump up what I was doing to get from where I started to where I am today. Now, at the end of this video, I will tell you how quickly I write these novels, and you don't have to be as quick as me, but you can increase what you're doing so that you're setting your own standard and doing better tomorrow than you did today. And this goes back to working in small increments. Think of it like the Olympians. These people are incredible at the sports they do, but they did not start out that way. They started in the exact same place you and I started, but they applied themselves and they increased what they were doing little by little by little and trained themselves to do better. You and I could have done those things. We just chose not to. We took our attention and put it elsewhere. So if we're taking our attention and we are building up what we're doing slowly as writers, we can get better, stronger, and faster at how we are going to be writing. And you should be. If you are a writer, if you're an author, and you stay the same all the way through your career, something is wrong. You should be getting better and improving every single time. So it's just like with exercise. You're not going to start out running a marathon. You are going to start out walking down your street, and then you're going to build it up a little bit at a time until you can jog down the street and run down the street, run around the block, when you can run around your entire neighborhood, when you can go for a couple of miles. And then you're going to build it up and build it up and build it up until you can do that marathon without it being too strenuous on you. Same goes for writing. So all you have to do is for the next couple of days, I want to say for the next week, I want you to calculate how quickly you can write. You're not going to push yourself. This is just your normal writing sessions. Time it. If you write for 30 minutes a day, you are documenting how many words you get done in 30 minutes a day. If you are writing for an hour a day, you are documenting every single day how long it takes or how many words you are getting in that 1 hour period. Pay attention and document those things. Now, at the end of the 7 days, you're going to be able to average those together and find your baseline. This is how many words you can write per hour. Now, I'm going to say per hour as we continue this discussion because that's easier math for us to do, but you can do it in whatever time frame you need to do it in. So you are going to document how many words you can write per hour. Let's say, again, we're going to do some easy math here. Let's say you can do 500 words in 1 hour. So now this is your baseline. For the next week, you are going to force yourself to write 550 words in that hour. It will be a little bit of pressure. You're going to feel it. It's going to be a little strenuous. You're going to have to really work to get to that point. It's going to be a little bit of a mental load because you are increasing that writing just a little bit during that hour. Now, during the course of the next 1 to 2 weeks, it's going to feel pressure, but then at some point it's not going to feel so hard because you're conditioning yourself to level up a little bit. You're just pushing yourself by small increments. That can be 50 words, it can be 100 words, it could be whatever you need it to be. When you start out, smaller increments. When you get better at this, you can go with larger increments. So we are just bumping it up by, let's, for easy math, say 100 words. So now you're spending your time until it feels comfortable to write 600 words in an hour. And then when it gets comfortable, when that becomes easy, we're bumping it up a little bit more, another 100 words. So now you have to do 700 words in 1 hour. It's pressure. It makes you work for it. You may not accomplish it the first time or two, but then you're going to get to the point where it becomes easier and then comfortable. When it gets to comfortable, now you bump it up again. You can determine what your comfort level is. You're going to try to aim for a couple of days to a week for each new increment, but don't go in big increments because that makes it really hard. Smaller is better. Achieve the small goals. If you are, again, going back to our exercise conversation, if you know that you can walk the length of your street, do that and then go down around the corner and come back just a little bit. We're not adding an entire block to that, right? We don't want to run the marathon before we're ready. So build it up in terms of 1 week at a time or 2 weeks at a time or 3 days at a time, whatever works best for you, and that's going to change. So at the beginning, it might be an entire week for you to get an extra 50 words in. And then as you progress and you're a couple months in, now maybe it's just 3 days to get that extra 50 words in. You're going to level up. You're training yourself like an Olympian. Consider yourself training to be in the Writer Olympics. You can continue to progress until you are happy with where you are. Your happy doesn't have to be my happy, and my happy doesn't have to be your happy. I knew that when I was writing, I needed to get it to a place where I could do that while also working a job, running my businesses, and doing all these extra things. So I had to train myself to get to a point where I could fit everything in. You have to train yourself to get to a point where you're happy with your writing. And that might mean a time frame, getting a book written in 3 months instead of a year. That might mean that you are getting more words in, but in a shorter time frame so you can take care of your family. That could mean whatever it needs to mean for you. Understand that we're not working towards some big overall goal. I don't want you to sit here and say, okay, within 3 months, I want to have the ability to write 6,000 words in one writing session. I don't want you to do that because it's big and overwhelming. I want you to say, I want to be able to create more time to do XYZ. I want to be able to fit my writing session in that I feel really good about before my kids wake up in the morning. I want to whatever, but have it kind of more of a vague thing and then work toward it. You're not giving yourself arbitrary deadlines. Just do better. I want you next week to do better than you did this week. That should be your only purpose with this, to do better next week than you're doing now. And then each week you're going to do better and you're going to do better and you're going to do better. Don't put on those weird timelines. Weird timelines will stress you out and prevent you from doing well with this. So just make sure I am improving. I want to do improvement. And that is one tiny step at a time. Then you can have the next step. Then you can have the next step. You will build yourself up, and we're all going to go at different rates for this. So you might build this up really fast. You might be a little bit slower on this, and you might have to tweak and refine things so that you're doing this in a way that's more conducive to what you want. Don't put arbitrary timelines on this. Now, from here, you are going to eventually get to a point where you're happy. At that point, you can look for other areas to improve in your life. You don't constantly have to be leveling up your writing skills. I write at a pace that I'm happy with. Now that I'm happy with the pace that I write with, I can focus on other things to enrich what I am doing for. I can make sure that I am now improving my marketing, or I am improving my video creation, or I am improving my whatever. Have other things to improve. You don't always have to constantly be getting better with your writing. Get to a point where you're happy. And that's all you need to ask for. All right, so you're probably wondering, how quickly am I writing my novels? Because I'm talking a good game, but what are we really looking at here? Now keep in mind, when it comes to writing your novel, we are all at different paces. We're all doing different things. And if you look at my career at all, you can see I'm a highly productive person. I tend to do the work level of like 4 days of work for normal people in 1 day or in half a day. I get a lot done. I get it very quickly done, and I run multiple businesses entirely on my own because of it. So I am one of those authors that writes really fast. I know of a handful of other people who write as quickly as me. It is absolutely possible. It's something that you can build yourself up to do. And if you're a highly productive person, it might be very much within reach for you. But again, we're taking our time to get there. For some people, it is going to be easier to get a book done in 6 months or in 3 months. Whatever works best for you is going to be what works for you. We're not comparing your time to my time. So when I tell you that I can write a full-length novel and have on multiple occasions in 9.5 days and turn it into my editor on day 10 with all my self-edits done and only a few typos returned from the editor, please know it's possible. It is absolutely possible. I know a couple of people that do it, but it doesn't mean that has to be your goal. You do not have to have a novel from conception to turning it into your editor with only a handful of typos done in 2 weeks. That doesn't have to be a thing that you do. And I don't always do my books in less than 2 weeks. Sometimes I have other things going on. Sometimes I take my time with it. It depends on what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, but I'm capable of doing it. I've done it on multiple occasions with my novels. Your goal should be anywhere from 3 to 6 months as a good average for writing a novel if you want to be productive as an author. And then if you can do better, if you can do faster, that's going to work to your advantage as an author as well. But you don't have to. You can do whatever you need to do. If your novel is taking more than 6 months to a year to write, now we need to refine what we're doing with our strategy, and we need to change how we're doing it to be more productive and effective for us. But however you're starting is fine. That's your starting place, and now we're going to go from there. And like I said, I didn't always write my novels in 9.5 days. I would take a couple of months to write a novel back when I was starting because I was new at it and I was figuring it out. I didn't really have a writing strategy. And when I had a strategy and then I conditioned myself to do better, I was able to progress and to level up. So if you start with my first book, that took me a while to write. To the current books, those don't take me very long to write, but there's a clear progression of my work and how it's changed over the time. based on how quickly I am going to be getting those things done and how I'm able to do those and how I'm able to level up and how I'm able to create a strategy, and you can do that as well. So drop your questions on this down below. Let me know what your starting point is and what your goals are for this. What do you want to do to level up as an author? And follow along for more daily videos helping you navigate the world of publishing, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable and most fun and successful author year ever. We'll see you tomorrow.